Fame in a Foreign Language, Joseph Conrad, Part 2. He signed on at the age of 20 as a seaman on an English steamer, but he did not need to speak very much English to get by. Ordinary seamen on vessels like his spoke many different languages and developed their own mixed language to communicate. However, protocol in the British Merchant Marine required ambitious sailors to pass through several levels before commanding a vessel. Each level had its own test in English, but reading in English as much as he could, he became good enough to pass the written test for second-class seaman, then first class, then master. He sailed under the flag of Britain for a total of 16 years, and he became a British subject in 1886. Throughout his life, Conrad was more inclined to read and write more than to speak. He was often depressed and socially uncomfortable. This was probably one reason why, despite his phenomenal skills in English writing, he was very reluctant to speak English. A strong Polish accent persisted throughout his life. Even his life and even his wife and children said it made him hard to understand. French remained the language he was most comfortable speaking for the rest of his life. By the time his first novel, Emmaus Folly, was published in 1895, there was no doubt that English was the language in which he would write. He had accumulated an immense vocabulary. His style was intriguing but not foreign-sounding. In fact, he wrote with a directness and bland style that were about 30 years ahead of their time. Some of his work, especially Heart of Darkness in 1902 and Nostromo in 1904, still sound reasonably modern. Why Conrad became such a master of written English will always be a matter of debate. He himself wrote that the rhythms of the language matched some innocent and that had been with him since birth. As one as he once wrote, if I had not written in English, I would not have written at all. He never wrote professionally in either of the languages that preceded English in his life, Polish and French. Psychologists have guessed that Conrad associated these other languages with unpleasant experiences. His exile, his parents' death, his attempt to suicide. Also, the experiences that shaped Conrad's earliest novels were lived in English. English might have been established in Conrad's mind as the language of adult experience. These yeses make a lot of sense. A large volume of research indicates that multilingual people tend to link some aspects of life with one language and other aspects with another. By the time he died in 1924, at the age of 67, Conrad had a secure place in 20th century English literature. He was a personal friend of such greats as H. G. Wells and Ford Madox Ford. Some critics sniped at him for not being really English, for using French-based vocabulary instead of Anglo-Saxon stock. For example, like arrest instead of stop, overlapping some Polish influences show through his English. Almost no one now remembers who these British were.